Benzema, Modric, Kroos, and the signings that can shape the future of Real Madrid. Real Madrid is facing a lot of decisions about whether to continue to renew with a number of players, names that could even shape the future of the Spanish royal team. Karim Benzema, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Marco Asensio, Dani Ceballos, Nacho Fernandez, and Mariano Diaz. Those are 7 names that will expire on June 30th this year, but all have not shown any signs of them continuing to renew their contracts. Looking at the names above, it is not difficult to recognize some names that have contributed greatly to the success in the history of the Spanish royal team. However, Real Madrid has not shown that they want to keep these players for a long time. This has even become a tradition of the White Vulture throughout the years. It was the Santiago Bernabéu, the late president of Real, who chose the policy of not extending the contract for more than 1 season for players aged 30 and over. It's the rule and it seems no one at this club can break it. Typical and also the closest name, is Sergio Ramos. When looking at the case of the Spaniard, he tried to negotiate with the team at the beginning of 2021. Ramos wants a 2-year contract with a salary increase clause. However, the fact that Real will only agree to a 1-year period leaves the 35-year-old with no choice but to move to Paris Saint-Germain. To make the above rule, of course the club has their own reasons. In the 1960s, the players did not have a health compared to the players today. The ages of 26 to 30 are considered to be the career period on the decline. At that time, the club was forced to follow a more orthodox model because the players then could not extend their careers compared to today. Not to mention, the fact that the above rule has helped Real succeed makes them have no reason to leave it. The biggest example is undoubtedly the decline of Cristiano Ronaldo since he left Madrid for Juventus at the age of 33 and the case of Ramos. It's hard to ask them to play like they did a few years earlier. This policy also allows Madrid to have certain flexibility in terms of wages and other costs, helping them have more finance for the rejuvenation of the squad. This is clearly in contrast to the direction of great rivals, Barcelona has done in recent years with Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez and, most recently, Jordi Alba. Looking at the 7 names mentioned earlier, not all of them are in their 30s or older, so Real Madrid will certainly have different approaches if they renew their contracts. Next, we should go into each of them in detail to see what might come to them next. Karim Benzema. Age, 35. Real Madrid appearances, 619. Madrid titles, 23. Benzema has been the leader of Madrid since Ronaldo arrived in Turin and he is also the one holding the captain's armband of the team thanks to his experience and achievements. This is already the 14th season that Lazy Cat plays at the Bernabeu and he is also the 2nd highest scorer in the club's history with 332 goals, just behind Cristiano Ronaldo's 451. Spanish media believe that Benzema won the Golden Ball automatically triggered the contract extension for another year. Although there is no official word on the extension, it is likely that it will happen soon. Luka Modric. Age, 37. Real Madrid appearances, 456. Madrid titles, 21. While it is doubtful that Benzema can leave, Modric is not such a case. Real Madrid always want to keep the 37-year-old midfielder and use him as an example for the younger generation to follow. Not only that, Modric has never been in a hurry to renew his new contract. For example, at the end of 2020, it seemed that his relationship with Real would end in June next year, but in the end, the two decided to stick together until now. A year later, things were more positive, but negotiations also took some time to begin. Modric stayed and made a great contribution to bringing back the 14th Champions League trophy in history. So far, there has been no word on the Croatian's future, but it is once again believed that he is open to a 1-year extension with the club. Modric's salary has not changed since the 10% pay cut to support the club due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, but that is certainly not the problem. Elsewhere, Modric also received countless offers from Saudi Arabia and MLS. However, the 37-year-old midfielder still feels he wants to contribute at the top environment and confirms it by taking Croatia to the semi-finals of the World Cup and only stopping before Argentina. Modric is also seriously considering continuing to serve the team in the upcoming Euro qualifiers. Toni Kroos. Age, 33. Real Madrid caps, 385. Madrid titles, 18. Toni Kroos is also considered one of the role models for the youth at Real Madrid. Real was delighted after the former Bayern midfielder decided to retire from the national team to focus fully on the club. Since arriving in Spain 8.5 years ago, Kroos has only renewed his contract once in 2019, only that can show his importance to the capital team. At the press conference at the beginning of the year, Ancelotti also shared that, as a fan, no one thought that he would retire. Kroos has publicly stated that he has no intention of prolonging his career. His wish is to be able to retire in a Madrid shirt and then develop personal projects, including Toni Kroos Academy and Einfach mal lupen, Just Go For It, a popular podcast that Kroos collaborates with. Felix's brother is the host. Last year, Kroos announced he would not make a decision on an extension until 2023. The time has come, and multiple sources claim that the former Bayern Munich player is not going anywhere until February. Results in the knockout stage of the Champions League and the competition for the main kick are considered the two key points that will determine the departure or stay of the 33-year-old player. Marco Asensio. Age, 27. Real Madrid caps, 253. Madrid titles, 15. Asensio's career at Madrid is very similar to his ability to shoot from long distance with his left foot, meaning it is difficult to decipher. Last summer was when Asensio wanted to leave Madrid the most. Even the board of directors of the team did not want to keep him because they judged the Spaniard's ability to reach the level was not high. Asensio also complained about the fact that he was playing too little or being substituted often due to a request from the senior management of the team. But after Asensio changed agents and decided to work with Jorge Mendes, he chose to stay at the Bernabeu. Even sources close to Asensio say that Ancelotti and Madrid are both ready to renew and consider him the main nucleus. But that does not mean that the number of minutes played by this player has improved. Asensio has only played 574 minutes this season, a much more modest figure than Vinicius Jr., 1936 minutes, and Rodrigo, 1,506 minutes. Asensio has just turned 27 and many hope the player can continue his career at Madrid. Dani Ceballos. Age, 26. Real Madrid caps, 87. Madrid titles, 8. Ceballos' future has never been assured at the club as Real prefer to take the midfielder's place to young players at the academy. However, Ceballos has shown no desire to leave, but that should change this season. But change is not easy. Ceballos' current salary is something that no club in La Liga wants to pay to bring him back, unless the midfielder accepts a deep salary reduction in exchange for the opportunity to play. With that in mind, Ceballos could also be looking to land outside of Spain, like his time on loan to Arsenal in the 2019-20 and 2020-21 seasons. Nacho Fernandez. Age, 33. Real Madrid appearances, 287. Madrid titles, 19. Nacho is a player who graduated from the club's academy and just turned 33 a few days ago. This season, the defender has only played 141 minutes in La Liga and 504 minutes in all competitions. That makes Nacho unhappy with his playing time, and he is among the few long-term players who can leave this summer. While both sides were confident about agreeing to an extension just a few months ago, the whole process has come to an impasse. According to information from Nacho's representative, Real did not have the same positive feedback as before. Another factor beyond age that affects negotiations is invitations from other teams. However, if Nacho does not renew his contract with Madrid, his preferred option would be MLS, and there have been behind-the-scenes contacts in this direction. Mariano Diaz. Age, 29. Real Madrid appearances, 78. Madrid titles, 8. This is the name with the highest probability of leaving out of the 7. Real Madrid even spent years making it clear that the door was open for Diaz. But the Dominican Republic international has always kept that door closed, which means he won't be leaving this transfer window either. This comes despite the fact that the coaching staff have only used Diaz 25 minutes this season in all competitions, and are also the man with the fewest minutes of play among the first-team strikers last season with just 397 game minutes. A net salary of about €4.5 million is clearly a big burden, and Madrid do not want to continue to pay that amount. They certainly do not want to renew, because Diaz has not brought any benefits to Real every time he plays. Not to mention the constant injury that made everything too obvious. Diaz's representative also did not have any comment on extending the client's contract. That's all that has been and is happening with 7 names at the top of the article. Almost all of their futures have been determined when looking at the contributions these players bring to Real Madrid. But it still needs more time for the White Vulture to solve it all before this year's season closes.